What up, what up, what up? What up, the Dilly? Man. Y'all see the title? Liam Neeson's? I know it's Liam Neeson. It's a callback for a Key and Peele skit. Well, a series of skits they did about Liam Neeson. Calling them Liam Neesons. That shit is funny. As black people, we always put S's at the ends of words that don't need S, at the ends of last names that don't need S's. That's just what we do. You know what I mean? That shit is fucking funny. But do I think he's racist? I think everybody has a level of prejudice or racism within them, depending on what you've been through and who you are or what have you. But is he some pitchfork rounding up black people, you know what I'm saying, and just killing them left and right? Nah, I don't view him as such. I think he's just an old dude that was having a moment, an honest moment, that was a tad too honest. I feel like, I know many of us have crazy, ridiculous thoughts. You know, the crazy things like you want to slap the shit out your mother, or you want to kill somebody, or you want to harm somebody, or do this or do that. But you don't act on those things. The thing that separates a psychotic or a sociopathic individual from a person that's normal is that the sociopathic / psychotic individual will hear those weird, crazy voices or suggestions, and they'll act on those. And the normal, sane people, they can brush those thoughts and feelings away, you know. And Liam Neeson is a normal, sane person. He was just describing a crazy thought that he had 40 years ago, but he never acted on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, what defines who you are is not what you say you thought about. It's what you actually do. And there's context to his situation, because I guess for the new movie that he just shot, or some movie or whatever, they were asking how was he able to conjure up the anger and the emotion in order for that to convey on screen to be believable. And he was like, a friend of his had gotten raped 40 years ago, right? And then he asked her, do you know who it was? And she's like, no. And he asked the person, were they black? What color were? What were they race? What was their race? You know, just trying to pinpoint it. These are questions. If somebody like sexually assaults somebody in your family, you're gonna ask them, know who it was? What was they? Well, if you know who it was, then obviously you'll know the race or whatever. But who they was it male? Was it female? The race or whatever? You gotta ask the standard questions to kind of pinpoint whoever it is. Man, you know, you gotta pinpoint that. And she said, yeah, he was black or whatever, but they didn't know who this guy was. So when you hear something like that, a good friend of yours going through some shit, and they pinpointed on a certain race, a lot of times, man, just out of like insanity, you're gonna be like, fuck all the motherfuckers. I get it. He didn't mean it, but he felt it for that particular moment. And the thing that was even crazier about it is that he said he would go to different pubs or go around different pubs at night, because he's from Ireland or some shit. So they don't call it a bar, they call it a fucking pub. That shit's whack. But he would go to like pubs and just hope that random black dudes would come out and start trouble with him. He didn't say he would start trouble with them. See, people not saying this shit. He did not say they would start. He would start trouble with them. He was saying he was hoping that a black person would start trouble with him, so he could kill that motherfucker. So that would make him, give him some type of weird justice and retribution for what his friend went through. And it has no logic. It's fucking stupid as shit. You know what I'm saying? But that's how he felt based on some tragic shit that his friend allegedly went through. You dig? And the thing is, but he never acted on it. He just thought about it. He said he went out, I think he said he went about like that for a few days. Because if he really wanted to set it on some black person and kill a black person, he wouldn't have to wait for a black person to set it on him. He would take his little stick and fuck him up. That's what he would do. If he really wanted to murder a black person, he would go out and murder a black person. He wouldn't go out and like hope that a black person started trouble with him. People ain't just randomly just starting trouble with dudes like that. And Liam Neeson seemed like a pretty big dude that can handle his business. So I don't think just any random black person would just come up to him and just fuck with him like that. You know what I mean? It's like, remember when we was in like middle school and shit, and you got a problem with somebody else, like, yo, if you cross this line, I'm gonna fuck you up. If you cross this line, you don't gotta, or knock this pencil off my shoulder. Like, to me, that's just some pussy shit on Liam's part. Like, yeah, you talking that, and I'm not coming at him or nothing like that, but if the point I'm trying to make is, if he really wanted to do something, he wouldn't leave it the onus on the black person to set it on him. He would just randomly just set it on motherfuckers, just beat motherfuckers with bats. Maybe he did that shit. Maybe he killed motherfuckers. Who knows? But talking about a dark thought that you had 40 years ago does not define who you are. It's like we can't even have honest moments anymore, you know, without being demonized. We can't even have an honest moment like, yo, this is how I felt back then, but I felt so bad. Like, why am I thinking like this? So you can already see there was a duality. He's admitting that it was some type of evil entity inside of him, and he didn't act upon it. Can the man get some credit for not doing the shit? But see, that's the thing. Like, some things, like, I guess we just live in this internet society and this, like, acceptance society where we're always trying to get approval for decisions that we've made or bad things that we've done. I mean, some things could be some thoughts. Not every thought needs to be revealed. Like, I don't have to tell you that I wanted to choke the shit out of this nun to the point where I pulled her Adam's apple out of her mouth and boiled it in a pot. I don't have to reveal that thought to you. Not every thought needs to be revealed. He could have easily, when they asked how, you know, like, where did you get the inspiration for those emotions in that movie, because it seems so real. You know, he could have been like, I mean, he could have embellished the story a little bit. Or he didn't have to go in. He could have just said, my friend got raped, and that shit really made me upset that my friend got raped. But he did say, like, the things that he did say, though, in the interview, he said, I wanted to kill every black bastard that came out of the bar if they bothered me. He like Charlamagne the God was saying, he said, black bastard, capital B, capital L, capital R, capital D, black bastard. So it did come off as kind of harsh, but then you have to remember he's an actor. That's kind of like method acting, I think, almost. And he was invoking that emotion again. He's fresh off of a movie. He's fresh off of a movie using those emotions. But no, I don't like. What is he supposed to do, right? He had those thoughts. You can't control an impulsive thought. You can't control that shit. And he's admitting a thought that he had on impulse. So now we're gonna judge. We're not judging motherfuckers on actions. We're judging people on being honest about a bad thought that they admit was bad and they regret having. We judge motherfuckers off of that now. Like, what the fuck is wrong with this pansy ass pussy society that we have right now? What the fuck is wrong with us, man? Like, damn, that was fucked up that you thought that, but I'm glad that you didn't act on those thoughts. I commend you for not giving it to them demons. Because you know what? There's hundreds, I don't know how many murderous serial killers there is and shit, but let's just say there's 10,000 serial killers that weren't able to have the self-control that Liam Neeson had, you know? What if Ted Bundy had that self-control? There'll be 25 gay dudes, black people that were still alive right now. What if, I'm not Ted Bundy, but Jeffrey Dahmer. What if Ted Bundy had control over his crazy satanic impulsive thoughts? And there would be probably, like, well, they claim, well, he admitted to like 37, but they said, he alluded to, like, you got to add a 0 to that number of the amount of people that he killed. So that shit sounds crazy. But what if Ted Bundy had control over himself, over those thoughts, and like quelled that desire to do the heinous things that he did to all the girls with brown hair with the part in the middle of their head that looked like his mom. You know what I'm saying? You got to give people credit for having self-control. He's just having an honest moment. Now, like I said, granted, not every thought in every situation needs to be spoken of. You know what I mean? I think it was there was this one show, like, people that, like, a pedophile, and there's a difference between a pedophile and a pederast. A pedophile is a person that thinks about having sex with children. A pederast is somebody that actually does it. They say a pedophile can function in society and never touch a kid when thought is in their mind. But my thing is, this world is so fucked up. Like, even if you got control over that, not everything needs to be admitted. You know what I'm saying? Not everything is for public knowledge, man. Like we're getting too what's the word that I'm looking for? We're getting too concerned with having acceptance. No, we don't need to do that. There's some embarrassing little habits and idiosyncrasies that I have that I mean, maybe some of my close friends know about it, but like I got this weird way to eating the Twix. Okay, I'll give you one of my weird things I do. I peel the caramel off the Twix. I eat the chocolate around the Twix. I scrape the chocolate off the bottom of the Twix. I break the Twix in half, and I suck on the cookie, and I let that shit dissolve in my mouth. Every time I say that shit makes me sound gay as hell. If I don't want people to think I'm gay, then I'm not going to talk about my weird way of eating the Twix. Every weird, strange, evil, satanic thought that a person has, you don't have to express that with the world. Some things, like the whole concept of like the internet and social media just took away our concept of just privacy. What's wrong with just having privacy? What's wrong with just having something just to yourself that's just for you to think? And I always say this, man, and I will stick to this till I die. Not every thought that we have is our own thought, man. Not every desire that we have is our own desire, man. Not every feeling that we have is our own feeling. Why? Because subliminal messages are constantly being put out in the airwaves. You can't see it. If we had the right vision, we would see all types of sound waves and fucking radio waves and phone waves. We'll see all that shit. Dude, these things are constantly being put out. Constantly. Messages are constantly being thrown. Images are constantly being subconsciously thrown at us all the time, man. So whenever you have a thought that's like contrary to like your productivity and your nature or something that's destructive, 9 times out of 10 it probably didn't even come from you. You don't have to act on that shit. You don't have to act on every fucking thought and impulse, and you don't have to talk about it. You dig what I'm saying? Don't feel bad if you get like some weird, evil, sadistic, or demonic thought, man. It's motherfucking invisible spirit forces, and I'm not even talking about on some spiritual mumbo jumbo. When I say spirit forces, it's motherfuckers just literally putting out radio waves, sound waves, different images that make people think that they have certain thoughts in their head. It incepts these thoughts in their heads, but it's not really from them. Like the movie Inception, I talked about this before, prime example. They had to put a thought in this dude's mind to make him think he came up with the idea of trying to sell something or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But it came from something else. I'll give you a prime example of how Hollywood used to do this. And they probably still do it to this day. In the 50s and the 60s or whatever, they'd have movies. And whenever they wanted like the sales to go up for popcorn and the sales to go for soda and stuff like that, back then the movies were all like individual little frames, like film frames. So they would take one film frame out and they would put a popcorn there. One film frame out and they would put a soda there. So you watching the movie, all of a sudden like popcorn will flash by real quick. You consciously don't you consciously don't see that, but your subconscious sees it. You understand what I'm saying? So all of a sudden, damn, I need to go out and get some popcorn. You weren't even thinking about popcorn. They put that thought in your head and made you think that you desire popcorn. You probably could have just ate dinner, or you probably, whatever, you just wasn't thinking about popcorn. Now all of a sudden, you wasn't hungry or nothing. All of a sudden, it just popped in your head. Why? Because they put that frame in there. But that wasn't, and you got to think to yourself, man, I don't even want no popcorn. Now I can see before you went to the movies, you want some popcorn or whatever. But you know what I'm saying? You're going through the credits or whatever, you know, the beginning previews of the movie, and all of a sudden you just, damn, I feel like I got a taste for some popcorn right now. That shit was incepted. That was a subliminal message planted in your mind to make you think that you wanted something. But it didn't originate from you. It originated from something else. And I say that to say this. Just because you have a crazy ass thought, don't get down on yourself, because it's not always from you. A lot of times it's from these outside forces. Now the thing is, don't act on these thoughts. And don't fucking blab your mouth about the crazy ass thoughts to everybody. Like, don't try to get acceptance from some insanity that was implanted in your head from an outside source. Nobody's gonna understand that shit. Even though I feel like a lot of us go through this shit. We should have private support groups and talk about these things. That's why I fuck with Patrice O'Neal heavy, because they actually had a show on Opie and Anthony years ago talking about the different crazy thoughts that go through your head, but you just don't do it. Bill Burr had a whole bit about, he's like, sometimes just driving down the freeway, and I was like, if I just or I'm driving down the street or whatever, like near like a market, and people on the sidewalk, and if I just push my hand an inch to the left, I could be a fucking murderer. Like 1 inch, me moving my hand 1 inch is the difference for me being a mass murderer and me being insane. It just takes 1 little inch, you know? But it doesn't necessarily have to be like, that thought probably didn't originate with him. I'm telling you, some evil, dark forces out here that's influencing motherfuckers to do this shit. And a lot of people aren't strong enough to ignore these thoughts. Liam Neeson was strong enough to ignore it. He thought about it. He was in a position to do it. He had the stick, walking around with the stick around the pubs, looking for the first black bastard to fuck with him. He didn't say he was gonna fuck with black people. He said he wanted somebody to fuck with him first. Nobody ever fucked with him. And who knows, because nobody ever fucked with him, that maybe that made him see black folks in a different light. Like, damn, I'm thinking all crazy and shit like that. I'm out here looking for trouble, trying to fuck somebody up, and nobody not even doing nothing to me. I got the problem. And he realized he had the problem. What's wrong with me? I feel bad about this bullshit ass thought that's inside of my head. He didn't act upon it. So give that man some fucking credit for not acting on his fucking sick ass thoughts that probably was implanted in his head by some evil deity, because it's not from him. Because if he really wanted to do it, he would do that shit. He would have fucking did that shit, man. But he didn't do it. He resisted. He ain't racist, man. Racists don't show constraint and resistance. He's just trying to have an honest moment. Now everybody want to be all up in arms and not watch his movie for a thought that he had 40 fucking years ago. Are you serious, man? Y'all people that's up in arms in this shit and calling him a racist, y'all some stupid motherfuckers, man. Dumb. Cause I swear, man, liberals, man, we get off. I'm not a liberal. I think I'm like in between, but like I don't say we, but like liberals. And when I say liberals, I mainly mean the black community, but just liberals in general, man. Motherfuckers get off on just being outraged, though. Motherfuckers get off on just being mad about some shit. Motherfuckers get off on just having some shit to talk about. Oh, I've been wronged and injustice towards me, and like, shut the fuck up, man. Just like you mad at somebody that thought about some shit 40 years ago that did not act on the evil thoughts. So what, would you have been happy if he acted on it? We can't control thoughts that pop in our heads, especially when some crazy traumatic shit happens. Something like that. Let your family member get raped or go do some crazy shit by a certain group of people too. So, and you don't know who it is. You can't pinpoint who it is. I'm not saying you're going to wait outside with a stick and try to fuck somebody up. But you're probably going to feel a certain type of way about a group for a little bit. You know what I mean? Until the chemical that makes you feel angry subsides. Because it's all chemical. Whenever you get mad, happy, sad, afraid, all those things are triggered by chemicals, man. And all the chemicals eventually dissipate unless you have a chemical imbalance and you're crazy, then, you know what I mean, personality disorder, what have you, then that's a whole different ball game or whatever. But nah, do I think Liam Neeson was racist? I think we all have a level of prejudice. He not racist at all. I feel like, and he looked like he sincerely felt bad about that shit. For some shit he thought about 40 years ago. Y'all want to like not watch his movies, break CDs and shit like that just because he's having a thought. He talks about a thought he had 40 years ago where he showed restraint. He could have been like, fuck it, and just went on a wild rampage like Samuel L. Jackson in fucking The Time to Kill. But Samuel L. Jackson knew who raped his daughter in The Time to Kill, so that's different. But you get what I'm trying to say. He didn't go on no spree or nothing like that. He had the thoughts. He realized the thoughts was fucked up. He didn't act upon the thoughts. One of the biggest movie stars ever, man. Had the courage to talk about his situation. But I say all that to say this, man. We live in some PC, pansy, bitch ass, nosy generation gay society where people want to know all the information, but they want to judge you when you like confess to thoughts, not actions. They want to fucking judge you and ruin your life over words and over fucking thoughts that you had, man. That shit is wild, man. That shit is we live in a fucked up whack time, man. We got the most technology ever. We have the most means of communication ever. You know what I'm saying? special effects in movies and all these. I just finished doing Instacart right now, delivering groceries. We got all these different apps and things of that nature to make life more convenient as far as making money and as far as servicing people and helping people. But at the same time, we become like 10 times softer. Yo. Like this story shouldn't even have made headways. But on an even deeper level, controversy sells. His movie just dropped. People are easily triggered by pansy ass bullshit like this, getting mad over thoughts from 40 years ago. So fuck it. Let me make myself a villain real quick so motherfuckers can check me. Because I'm sure there's plenty of people who've never even heard of Liam Neeson's before, who've never even heard of Liam Neeson. Now they know about him. They're going to formulate and develop their own opinions. Some are going to probably check out his movies now. So who knows? Just like when R. Kelly was going through his shit recently, his fucking album, like, so he started selling out albums and concerts. So I don't know, maybe it's on a deeper level, like than what I'm thinking of. And maybe people just talking about these quote unquote controversial things is just a means to fucking make money, just to get us to talk about it, so we can go check out the movie, we can go and buy the product, and we can go and fucking be the consumer. Maybe that's what it is, man. I don't know, but I don't think he's racist. Not at all. You can't be. And then that's another thing with society. When did like America used to be like a really forgiving place? When did we become this society where a person could never be redeemed for anything? I mean, I'm not even talking about murder or rape or anything like that. And people have even been redeemed from those situations. Those are extreme. But we on some shit now where we can't be forgiven for nothing. Even if you call somebody a fag 30 years ago. Oh, he called me a faggot in 1962. And it was just so traumatizing for my life. And I don't think I'll ever be the same because he called me a fag in 1962. I'm like, no, like, what? We ain't gonna never be, we never gonna be redeemed. We can never be redeemed, huh? Never. That shit is, that's some scary shit, like, because the problem with that is this mindset. If our youth start to adopt this mindset that you can never be forgiven, I see some dictatorship, like, it has like a dictatorial potential. You know what I mean? Meaning, like, you can do the most mundane of crimes or quote unquote hate crime or just like a slur, like free speech gonna be gone, period. So now you're gonna get arrested for saying cuss words potentially. If we keep like flirting with this bullshit, man. Imagine having to go to jail because you told somebody fuck you or called them a bitch or some shit like that. You know what I mean? Or I thought about punching them in the face. Imagine if you go to jail because you think about assaulting somebody, not because you go, like the movie The Minority Report. They was fucking hemming motherfuckers up for them thinking about crimes. Imagine that. That's what it's leading towards, man. If we don't get on point and start getting at these bullshit ass, soft ass, motherfucking pansy ass, far left, Langostino, linguini ass liberals. If we don't start getting at these motherfuckers, man, we about to lose all our liberties, man. I see that shit. I see the potential happening, man. We're gonna be scared to say anything. Entertainment is gonna be whack. Entertainment is gonna be straight up on some PG, PC shit. Comedy is gonna be gone. Comedy's eliminated. Period. We're only talking about plants and shit or whatever. And then there's gonna be some groups that are gonna be like, why are you making fun of oak trees? Oak trees have feelings too. And then you're gonna go to jail for talking shit about an oak tree. It's gonna get bad, man. Liam Neeson's not a racist. Y'all need to stop being fucking pansies, man. Look at things in context. You know, look at a person's intent. Look at their historical track record. Look at the fact that they showed resistance and restraint, and they were honest enough to have that moment. You know, and people, if you got these crazy thoughts and feelings, obviously don't act on your crazy thoughts and feelings. You don't have to share your crazy thoughts and feelings with everybody. You don't have to do that because the way society is now, they will fucking devour and destroy. Keep your thoughts and feelings that's crazy like that to your damn self. You don't need to talk about it, period. Or say your friend your friend said some shit like that, or somebody you know, you heard a homeless dude on a bus. If you got to get it out there, but get it out there like in an indirect way. Like, you can always put it off on somebody else, but you're still talking about yourself if you really must blab about the shit. But people just need to get out of their feelings, man. Dude is not racist. We don't have to express or like describe every crazy thought that we have, and we need to stop just being so fucking sensitive. Because I'm trying to tell you, we keep going down this path, we're not gonna be forgiven for anything. Free speech is gone, entertainment is gone. It's gonna be like the fucking Soviet Union or fucking Germany or some shit like that, man. It really is, man. That's what it's going to. But that's pretty much all I had to say. Shout out to, let me give some shout outs to some YouTubers I've been watching about. I was talking about Liam Neeson and if he's, do I think he's racist? No, I don't think he's racist. You can't be racist for talking about a negative thought you had from 40 years ago that was based on something traumatic that happened to somebody in your family, and you didn't even act on the thought. You just had the fucking thought, and you felt bad about the thought. That doesn't make you racist. Racists don't feel bad about being racist. They just go out and do racist shit, and they happy about that shit. And they start the Ku Klux Klan and the alt-right and the motherfucking skinheads. That's what racist people round up Jews and exterminate 6 million of them. Racist people enslave Africans, you know what I'm saying? Racist people prevent people from getting jobs because of the color of their skin. Racist people beat people up, you know what I'm saying, because they dating outside their race or whatever. Homie do none of that shit. He just said he thought about fucking up a black person because his family member got raped by a black person, but he didn't do nothing about it. You know what I mean? He just thought about the shit. He went outside of the bar, had a stick, and he was like, any black person that mess with me, I'm gonna fuck him up. You know what I mean? But he didn't. That doesn't make you racist. That's bullshit. But if we want to keep our liberties, we want to keep our freedoms, our First Amendment rights, you know, we don't want to get fucking incarcerated for just saying words. We need to back up off this shit and stop fucking crucifying people through public opinion, man, off of bullshit, yo. It's gonna be like the Salem witch trials. They used to fucking, if they suspect you a witch, they put you in the water. If you drowned, you was human. And if you didn't drown, you was a witch and they would just burn you at the stake, yo. Like, that's some fucking bullshit, man. Oh yeah, but like I said, shout out to like a couple of YouTubers I've been checking out, man. They've been pretty inspirational. G Lowry is G-E-E-L-O-W-E-R-Y, Lowry. Holmes is tough, man. And JB Gunner. JB Gunner is like basically like a white Tommy Sotomayor. Funny as shit. Definitely a far right type dude, but he talks about the black community and shit like that. He probably shouldn't, but the motherfucker got an interesting ass take, and he grew up in the hood, so fuck it, that's all you know. Whatever. Shout out to Tommy Sotomayor. Shout out to my boy Jay the comedian. He talks mainly about his different experiences as a former Jehovah's Witness. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to him. Shout out to Free Monique. She talks about her different experiences as a former Jehovah's Witness as well. Any other YouTubers I can think of? Minister Jap is dope. Who else? I said Tommy already. Oh yeah, Star. Shout out to Star in the morning, man. That motherfucker, he probably my favorite. He like low key my favorite one that I fuck with. You know, there's probably a whole bunch more, but I can't remember them. But anyway, that's my time. Hashtag everybody need more green. Peace.